We want to get up close and personal, meeting people from all walks of life, sharing stories along the way. A very human journey on Peters on the Block. Today's guest is someone truly passionate about Hanok, Korea's traditional houses, but it's not just about love. He's also an incredibly skilled architect. In fact, he won the grand prize at the 2023 Korea Hanok competition, proving his expertise in Hanok architecture. Let's hear directly from this talented Hanok architect.
Hallo, mein Name ist Daniel Tändler. Ich komme aus Deutschland, bin Halbkoreaner und ich bin Architekt vom Beruf.
Welcome to the show, Daniel.
I hope you could understand it.
So the first sentence I learned in German at school was Ich heiße Peter. Is it more common then to say mein Name ist something?
You could say both.
Both is
it's
okay.
Both okay, yes.
It's maybe the same as in English, where I think people will learn my name is Peter, but just saying I'm Peter is maybe more
maybe
common.
It's more common, yes.
Okay,
right.
all right. It's
probably
fantastic.
similar.
I've never had a German lesson on the show, Daniel, so thank you. We are so lucky to have you here on the show. I recommended you personally because we did a couple of videos together on YouTube, and it was fascinating because I think somebody had told me about you a long time ago when there was a foreigner who was interested in Hanok, and I was like, that sounds really interesting, but we didn't get to meet until maybe, like 6 months ago within the past
Actually,
past
I was in an interview on ARIRANG for ARIRANG TV a long time ago.
Nice.
With Jennifer Clyde.
Yeah.
But I don't know how long that was ago, maybe
Jennifer Clyde,
10 years ago.
Yeah, has not done a show here for quite a long time, so it must be about 10 years ago.
It's been a long time, yeah.
Fabulous. That's amazing. So have you been on the radio side at ARIRANG? Is this your first time on the radio?
No, I think I was here maybe twice, but it's also in the past.
You can't remember what shows or what hosts or who it was?
It's been so long.
Some of our listeners have been tuning in for maybe 15, 16 years. So if any of you guys remember which show Daniel was on, let us know. I would love to hear from you. Raul from Argentina saying, Guten Morgen, Daniel. I remember that one. I remember, Guten Abend for good evening. But what's good afternoon? Is there something in the middle?
We would just say Guten Tag.
Guten Tag, like
but
good day.
It's more general, like good day, yes.
Okay.
Like we don't have anything particular for the afternoon.
For the afternoon, like in English, good afternoon.
Yeah.
Fantastic. We've also got Siska saying, welcome to the show. Hello from a retired architect here.
Oh, that's nice.
In
Hello.
Jakarta. I know, Siska, you've said you studied architecture a lot, so I wonder how long you worked in it. And any questions you have for Daniel, send them in as well. So in Korea, you're well known as an architect specializing in Hanok. But could you introduce yourself to our international listeners, what it is you do on a daily basis kind of thing?
So first of all, I'm an architect. I studied architecture.
In Germany?
In Germany, yes. So back then, my motivation to study architecture actually was Hanok.
Oh, really?
But back in the day was, I was originally studying economics, but I figured it wasn't my thing. So I was looking for something I could commit my life actually to, something I was really interested in. And I got this idea to work with traditional Korean architecture, but back then there was not a formal way to study it.
In Germany or in Korea?
In Korea. I'm talking about Korea, yes.
Wow.
So I was advised to rather study architecture as a basis and then try to get into the field as an architect.
Oh.
So that's what I did actually.
That's interesting that even here in Korea...
Now it's different. Like
there are some courses?
Yes, there is a university in Puya for traditional culture, heritage, and they have faculty for traditional architecture, and that's actually where I also teach a class.
Oh, fantastic. So you teach there, and so any aspiring people like you, when you were younger, who want to really hone in on Hanok, they could go there.
You could go there and study traditional architecture, yes.
Wow, that's great, because a lot of our foreign listeners, they are so intrigued by the beauty of Hanok. Maybe it was the same for you when you were younger.
Course.
And so they always want to know more about it. But I'm sure some of them, like me, might be shocked to know that a couple of decades ago there was no specialty like course to learn all about it.
Yes, you have to understand that the interest in Hanok, even within Korea, has only re-emerged in the early 2000s.
Oh, really?
I would say, yes. And before that, it was something old that you sort of almost wanted to overcome. Just as people back in the day would throw away really precious old furniture because they thought it was just old stuff.
Sure.
Yeah. But it's changed. Times have changed.
It's a different mindset here in Korea. Maybe that's changed as well, but you're right, with furniture and stuff, having antiques, I think in Europe, definitely in the UK, and I'm guessing for Germany, like it's something to be quite proud of, like an heirloom passed down in the family. But when I was in Korea going to visit my family here, I'd always be surprised that there were no antiques, right? There were nothing on show. And I'd be curious about that, but I think it's because Korea is such a culture of changing and upgrading.
Exactly.
And you saw so many Hanoks being knocked down to make way for high-rise buildings and stuff like that, which is quite sad, I suppose, now. But I'm glad that it's kind of re-emerged. So if you're so keen on Hanoks, Daniel, do you actually live in one?
I don't exactly live in a Hanok, but I have bought and remodeled my own house.
Wow.
And of course, in the process, elements from the Hanok found their way into my design.
Oh, brilliant. Yes. So you bought, because the majority of us, and I've told our listeners many times, we live in either high-rise apartments or low-rise apartments called like villa, things like that. So you decided to just get a house.
A single detached house with a little garden, yes.
Wow. And why did you not get a Hanok then, I wonder?
Well, a Hanok, first of all, I had my budget. So, I had this idea, I wanted to live in a place with a garden. Because I love the outside and I grew up in a small town. And this place I found was within my budget.
Yeah.
And, most Hanok that are worth buying probably are in neighborhoods that are more expensive, like Pukchon or Seoul.
Sure.
So it was a bit above my, not a little bit, quite above my budget. So I found this house, and then doing the design, I figured, I could have these elements applied. And I really like it because it's not only about Hanok, it's only my work as an architect, also applying our traditional understanding of space and design in modern buildings. It's also a task I'm very interested in.
So how and what elements of Hanok are like incorporated into your house then?
Well, for example, when I did the redesign for the roof was really run down, so I had to overhaul it. I figured I could put a glass roof in the middle, so it would become something like an indoor courtyard, an atrium.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's not actually exposed to the elements, but there's glass to let
it's
like
glass on top,
light.
yes. So I have an indoor garden. I also demolished the flooring at that space, so it's just soil there and
inside.
And I've planted trees and like tropical trees and plants, and it's really nice. So it's like an indoor courtyard.
That's amazing.
So the courtyard idea comes from the Hanok. It's not only Hanok that has courtyards, obviously, but it's a very important element in the Hanok architecture. And then the room for my mother, I used the traditional Hanji paper, also Hanji flooring with, do you know the traditional lacquer, ochil?
Yeah, I know the traditional lacquer. Is that with Hanji then?
Yes, you can apply it on the flooring, and it becomes really resistant and has a really beautiful coloration.
Is that the kind of yellowish colour?
Yes,
yellowish-brown?
Yellowish brownish.
I remember that, I think, from some homes when I came in like the 80s and 90s.
Yes,
and it wasn't like the linoleum. It's not like that,
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like the real thing.
Wow.
So I did it because I thought my mom would like it because she grew up in Hanok, obviously, like most of her peers.
Yeah.
And she really loved it. It said, it feels like my childhood home.
Oh, that's amazing. So just her room is
It was her room, when
What's
my parents
the rest
would visit.
of the flooring like?
It's different materials. I picked stone for the main area where I have my indoor garden.
Yeah.
People are also confused by that. But I just had memories from my childhood. I love walking barefoot outside on our stone terrace.
Oh, wow.
So, Hanok elements
indoors.
found their way in, and memories from my childhood found their way in. So that's how I created my own home. You can also see it online, by the way, if you look up for it.
Oh, really? If we type in your name and like your home,
yes.
does that come up then?
It should pop up, yeah.
Okay, Daniel Tändler, your house. look at the photos, that does seem like we're invading your privacy a little bit. But you've opened it up, right? It is and it sounds so unique, that kind of build. That's not a common thing in Korea at all,
It's
like
not,
the way you've done it.
No, it's not really common, and people always get quite interested in it. Like, for example, like stone inside. Like, what about the floor heating? I would say, think about it. Like our traditional floor heating, the name is undol, right?
Dol means like
stone. Yes, because they had stone plates above the parts where the hot air flows beneath. So the stone is heated up and it radiates the heat during the nighttime.
It's not cold or anything like that.
No, it sort of has the ability to sort of suck the heat up. Let's put it
and keep
in a simple
it in
way.
there.
And keep it, and then it will radiate over some time. So I said, there's no reason why stone wouldn't work with floor heating.
That is
and it's true. Yeah, it works well.
Yeah, because like you said, the original name Hongdae must have been with stones in the first place. So there's a little hint, and I did mention your Korean German.
Yes.
That's what got you into Hanok then, like traveling to Korea or through your mother?
I would say so. Like sometimes when I'm asked, I say if I wouldn't consider myself to be also Korean, I feel just as Korean as I feel German.
Yeah.
I think Hanok is also my cultural heritage.
Yeah.
And I appreciate it, and that was the main motivation for me to do this.
Wow. So did you grow up coming to Korea a lot? Because you grew up in Germany primarily.
Yes, I grew up
in
Germany primarily, but we always had a very close relation with our Korean side of the family.
Uh-huh.
So my mother grew up in a family of, I think there were 8 kids. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And so I have a lot of uncles and aunts and cousins. And our Korean grandmother, our Hamuli, also lived with us for, I think, a total of 6 years.
In Germany?
In Germany, yes.
Wow, that's amazing. So you really felt that side of you as well?
Exactly, yes. It's always been like very important also for myself, my cultural identity, the Korean side.
Yeah, that is not a given. Like maybe some of our listeners who don't have mixed like parents, then you might not think that's very unique, but I know many friends in my vicinity, at least in the UK, who are half Korean, half British. They had pretty much no links or emotional ties to their Korean side. They wouldn't come and visit very often, and they wouldn't see their cousins, and they don't really consider themselves Korean even to this day. So I think it's actually more rare than common. But I, like you, have that embedded in me, having visited Korea. Although I didn't get that attachment to Hanoks because my mum did grow up in a Hanok, but it was knocked down way before I was born and stuff like this. So I didn't get to go and like experience it very often. I do remember though, apartments in Korea, even modern ones, had the hanji-like paper on sliding doors and stuff.
Yes, you would find that,
That's died out a bit. I love that. That's beautiful. I guess you can't see through it, so it's not very practical in that sense. But I'd love it to kind of be reborn and become a thing again. Yeah.
I mean, I do understand that not everyone has some childhood memories of Hanok becomes Hanok architect, right?
Yeah.
And I do have fun childhood memories. Like I think my second aunt, she lived in a Hanok when we visited.
Oh, nice.
And I remember, staying there and sleeping on the floor in a small room with my cousins, and we would like stay up like half night playing stupid games. And when you wanted to go to the bathroom, you had to walk through the courtyard into the
outdoors
into the hotkan. What's hotkan in English? Like the separate
like outhouse
toilet building.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Wow.
And if you wanted to shower, there was like a pagoni, what's that?
A massive
sort
bowl.
Of a bowl, and you had to fetch the water and like,
there was no like modern shower.
Exactly, there wasn't a shower.
Uh-huh.
And I liked it as a kid. It was fun. Like, of course, today I wouldn't want to live like that.
Yes.
But I don't know, it's a fun childhood memory. And I always liked Hanok. And I remember even back then, I didn't understand why they would knock them all down and build apartments. Yeah.
Even from a young age.
Yeah.
It does not seem to make so much sense to us now. Now we appreciate culture and tradition. But I guess at the time it was like, it's so inefficient in terms of on the same plot of land you could house so many more families in an apartment. Let's get a picture of a Hanok on the screen while we talk a bit more about them. Is this a particular Hanok that you've picked out, Daniel?
This is Jeongdaeon Jeep in Eunpyeong. It's a newly built Hanok village on the outskirts of Seoul.
Yeah, they all look similar to this in that little village, right?
It's and it's not really old. I think this neighborhood is maybe 20 years old.
Yeah,
and it was designated. You have to build Hanok here. So it was a designated Hanok village, and this is one of the projects we designed. And one of our most important residential projects.
Your architecture firm designed this?
Yes.
Wow. So if you're not watching the video stream, number one, you're missing out. But it looks like there's 2 stories at the back as well. And this big, lovely gate with the traditional roofs and stuff.
Yes.
That's going to set you back a bit in modern Seoul, I suppose, like in terms of pricing. If I wanted to buy that would be relatively expensive, I assume.
If you were lucky enough to buy a plot there quite early, it was actually... for Seoul, rather affordable.
Oh, really?
I mean, not the houses,
area.
but the
land.
The land, yes. That has changed quite a bit.
Yeah.
But building a Hanok is pricey, yes, unfortunately.
Because it's not like mainstream, I suppose.
Yes,
so.
it's roughly, I would say, twice as expensive per square meter.
Wow, as
per
building.
unit, yeah. But in Seoul, you also get subsidies, which helps a little with the building costs. But in my opinion, in Seoul, it's not the price of the Hanok that's the problem, it's the price of the land.
The land itself, yeah. So maybe if you're doing this in the countryside, that might be much more
different.
viable. And it's got the mountains in the background there in Eunpyeong. It is a beautiful setting for that village. And like even the convenience stores and cafes are like all housed within Hanok. It's fantastic, isn't it? How many Hanok do you know are still in Seoul?
I think between 8,000 and 9,000, around that.
So that's not many families living in Hanoks,
exactly,
right?
And it's declining.
Oh, really?
Even though they're building new Hanoks, there's still old Hanoks being knocked down.
So the rate of them disappearing is kind of outpacing the new builds?
I would say so, yes.
Oh, dear. So in terms of Hanok, like what makes it a Hanok? Does it have to have that roof? Does it have to have a courtyard? Are there certain conditions that have to be met to say it's a Hanok?
Oh, probably on this question, even the experts can't agree on. What would you call a Hanok?
Oh, really?
Where is the line? It depends on how conservative and traditional you look at it or how open-minded.
Okay.
So it's probably up to yourself. Some people would say, oh, your house is a Hanok, even though it's not a traditional Hanok because I have my Hanok elements in it.
Sure.
Some people would argue, or some architects would even argue that the apartment is derived from the Hanok in its floor layout. So, for example, in the Hanok, you have the central courtyard.
Yeah.
Which serves as for circulation, like you get from one room to the other via the courtyard. It serves for you do the housework there, you do your gatherings there.
It's like the main hub of
exactly,
the house.
and that space was translated into the living room in the apartment, which is in the middle, and the rooms are put on the side of it.
Sure.
So it reminds of a Hanok layout if you look at it. So it always depends on what kind of perspective you have and how you want to define Hanok. I personally would say we should have a traditional structure and roofing at least.
Yeah.
But yeah, opinions differ.
I guess if you're super open-minded, saying an apartment is like the hyper-modern version.
The hyper-modern version, some people might argue this way, yes.
I don't want to argue that.
Not necessarily, but yeah.
That's interesting, though, that the structure, the layout of houses is different. We've got Daniel Tändler in today for Peters on the Block, the German-Korean architect specialising in Hanok. And we got loads of questions coming in. Leon from Singapore saying, do you see any parallels between Hanok design principles and German architectural traditions, such as maybe timber framing and things like that? What is a traditional German house? Like, I think the same goes for the UK. Like, I couldn't think of something just like Hanok straight away, I don't think. It'll be a bit harder to describe, maybe.
I would say, like, it's the half-timbered medieval houses we have in Germany. Like, I grew up in a small town with a lot of those houses.
Oh, wow.
So you have actually some parallel construction principles, like you erect a wooden structure and the walls are made out of clay.
Yeah. Oh, really?
And then you would put a roof tile. Although in Korea, like the roofed, the tiles on the roof were more for the aristocracy.
Yeah.
And then you would have a lot of thatched houses.
Okay.
But yes, still you have these similarities between the traditional architecture. I mean, traditional architectures, they would use the material you have at hand.
Sure,
right?
in that
so
area.
That's why similar methods would occur naturally.
Do you have thatched houses in Germany as well? Because in the UK,
in the north.
It depends
in the
on where
northern
you
regions,
are.
yes, you find thatched houses. Not in my region, though.
Because when I was growing up, in lots of like countryside villages, you'd see thatched roofing. And the way you describe it there, it's the aristocracy would get the tiles, and then, just the common folk would get the thatch roofs. But in the 90s and stuff, thatch roofs were really desirable because they just looked so cute and adorable. But I'm guessing maybe back in the day, even in the UK, maybe the richer families wouldn't have thatch. They'd have tiles and things like that because it's more efficient and probably more expensive to make.
But there's also a difference between the material. In Europe, you would use, how do you call it in English, reed, maybe?
Reeds, okay, yeah.
Which would last 20, 30 years. In Korea, they would use the straw from the harvest from rice. And you have to redo it every year.
Oh, every year?
Yes, as far as I know.
What a pain in the butt that would be. Wow. Every year. Oh, that's so interesting, because when I look at it to the untrained eye, they just kind of look similar, but they're completely different materials.
Yes.
Wow. We've also got Siska saying, I wonder which part is the most difficult when designing a hanok. Siska's the person who studied architecture. She says it seems like the roofs might be complicated because, the roofs are distinctive with hanok, and I think that's an essential part, the way they kind of curve at the sides and the edges.
I would say the structure, it might look a little bit overwhelming when you don't know it and look at it first, particularly as an architect, and you see all those bits and pieces. But actually, I don't find it that difficult if you keep on working with it. For issues that consider the structure, we consult with the master carpenters anyways. And as an architect, you don't really need to know the details, how the pieces fit into each other. Oh,
you don't need to go to that level.
That's the part the carpenters do for us, actually.
With the roof tiles as well, is that their area of expertise? I wonder.
Actually, as an architect, you're not a real expert in the details for many things, because
nice.
you need to have the overview of the whole building.
Sure.
And so as I said, like, you can always consult the experts for each field if you have a problem that you can solve on your own. So I don't find this the harder part. Like, what is for us the harder part in the work is actually all the legal restrictions and regulations. Not when you build a new hanok, it's not so bad, but we do a lot of renovation work in the old neighborhoods like Pukjeon. And in these old neighborhoods, you always have a building where this and that doesn't fit with the regulations, and then you have to find a way to get it through. And that's actually the bigger concern.
Are they very strict about those kind of regulations?
Oh, Korea has become quite strict, I would say, in comparison to when I first started work. Nowadays, like, people would say, we can do like a little annex here. No one will care. Yes, they do care.
Oh, really? And someone comes out and like inspects those kind of things?
Yes, for example, we had a project where we had just a little pergola that would divide the parking space with the entrance courtyard. And it was basically just two pillars in the pergola part and a glass roof, which was pretty small.
That sounds very simple.
Which we put up after the building inspection was done. And it got caught.
Oh dear!
Like, it wasn't a big problem because it would just register it for the client. But they do inspect, like, they have like the satellite images now.
Oh, and they notice that.
And they notice it, yes.
And so you need to go and register that.
So Korea is no banana republic anymore when it comes to building restrictions.
That's amazing. I guess that can mount up with costs as well, having to take all that into account and whatnot. Goodness gracious. It's more complicated than we thought. But we mentioned this earlier, and I didn't know this, Daniel, that you guys won the grand prize in the 2023 Korea Hanok competition, the completed works category. And that photo we showed earlier, and we'll show it again right now. That's the winning house.
Yes, it was. Wow.
So how long did that take to complete, and why did you guys win the prize? I mean, what was the explanation? I mean, it looks fantastic, but I couldn't judge, really.
So this project took from the start of the design process to completion about 2 years. That's a typical time frame you have.
Oh, really?
So while you do the design, and then you go through the building permission process, and for Hanok, you also go through the process to get the subsidies for the client. So it's all quite time consuming. And then the construction itself also typically takes maybe 9 to 12 months for Hanok in this size.
Is it specialized? Well, you mentioned carpenters earlier. So is it specialized people all the way through doing the construction? Right? It's not people who make apartments that make Hanoks.
It depends on which part of a building we're talking about. So for the wooden structure, of course, it has to be a traditional carpenter.
Yeah.
Also, the roofing has to be done by a specialized roofer.
Sure.
And then there is parts that are in between, like electricity. Of course, the modern electrician would do it, but it helps a lot if this electrician has experience with Hanok.
Sure. Yeah.
Otherwise, you will have spots where the electric lines are visible or whatever. And the same for the interior. Yeah, it always helps if people who do the modern work also have experience with Hanok, because of course you have a modern kitchenette, you have modern appliances, you have modern bathroom, and so on and so forth. Yes,
that makes a lot of sense. So how did you feel when you were picked out? I mean, do you need to enter like manually, like put your work up into the competition? How do they choose like a winner?
Well, you can apply for it, and you have to hand in your project, and then they visit it.
Oh, nice.
The committee, the judges visit it, and normally bigger projects would get the grand prize. So we were quite delighted. We got the main prize for a residential project.
Oh, wow. So there are bigger projects like what? Like government buildings or something like that?
Yeah, sometimes you would have buildings like, I don't know, with public functions like a library or, of a bigger scale.
With like a Hanok kind of motif to it or something like that.
It would be a real Hanok then.
Oh,
it would have to be a real Hanok for this prize. But I think the judges were quite... They appreciated the approach we did in this design. So we worked with traditional carpenters in many fields where you'd sometimes use modern parts, for example, the windows. You can use modern fabricated windows, prefabricated windows in a Hanok look.
Yeah.
Which are functionally good, and we also sometimes use those. But here we decided, because the client appreciated the traditional craft so much, we could do all these parts with traditional carpenters, even the windows. So we would find to improve those. In the old traditional windows, they are not really airtight. And we would find ways to improve these parts and still work with traditional carpenters. So we were able to show that the depth of traditional craft would go very deep in this project. And it required a lot of detail planning. And I think that was one of the parts that the judges appreciated.
Yeah, I'm assuming maybe the majority of clients might not go that deep into it.
Exactly.
I'm guessing that would cost more as well.
Not necessarily.
Oh, really?
Not necessarily, yeah. Not necessarily.
Okay, so that's
not for the window part, at least. Yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah, compared to like prefabricated ones, you could still get it at a similar price.
Actually, we were able to save a little. Because those prefabricated, it sounds like cheap, but it's not cheap. Windows are always very expensive.
Not just here in Korea, but
it's because of the complicated hardware and the way they are assembled, probably.
Yeah, I can imagine. Wow, well, that's interesting. Well, congratulations on that award as well, that grand prize. And a lot of foreigners, like Sherry's on board from Ohio, saying a gorgeous-looking house. We love Hanoks. Like, I feel it's a tourist destination for many people to go to maybe Bukchon and just take a stroll around, despite whether the residents like it or not. And there have been restrictions on tourists, I've heard, and we've presented to you guys. What do you think is the appeal from like a foreigner's standpoint? And like you growing up in Germany, it's very different to like a European structure, right?
It's very different. But think about it. Like if you travel to a foreign country, of course, a modern city can have its appeal. Yeah. But usually you look for the real stuff, let's put it that way.
Sure.
The cultural things. And so wherever you go, most people like traditional architecture because it shows us so much about that particular country, about the culture, about the climate. You can read so many things in it. And also Hanok as a traditional architecture, there is hundreds of years of knowledge and wisdom in it, and also the aesthetics. Yeah. That doesn't come from nowhere. It's something that was developed over such a long time. Yeah. And that just has appeal to people. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it really is true. You know, you go to a modern city and that's great. And I used to not really appreciate that. I used to think, I want to go to a modern city and have everything convenient. But then I think the older you get, you kind of realize, well, that makes them all the same. So
Exactly.
what's the point?
Have you ever met someone who traveled to Korea and preferred Gangnam over Bukchon or some areas where the palaces are? I haven't met any.
Yeah, that's very true, right?
Of course, people go to Gangnam because it's it's trendy and it's modern, but
you have a good time
there's
there.
just so much to see. Yeah,
but it's not distinct, right? The
Exactly.
things that stick out in your mind are all the authentic things, right? And sometimes Hanoks are described in a way of a pleasant kind of inconvenience. So my wife, it's not just Hanoks, it's just houses in general. She would prefer not to live in those places.
Yes.
So I think a lot of Koreans feel it's maybe too much inconvenience, living in an apartment, everything's on hand, there's a lot of people using facilities, so the parking's great, etc., etc. So how do you feel about that view of them, a pleasant inconvenience? Is that maybe a fair judgment, or what do you think?
Yeah, I wouldn't dare to criticize that because everyone for themselves has to find what they need. And if convenience is what you want, probably will prefer to live in an apartment, and that's fine.
Yeah.
I, from my side, I think in Korean society, we have this overdrive of convenience.
Yes.
Everything is so convenient here. Sometimes I notice by myself how I get used to it, and then when I go to Germany, it feels inconvenient and like, what's this?
Everything takes so much longer.
Exactly, but sometimes
UK.
I ask myself, what does this do to us? So what you just mentioned, like in Korean, I call it 기분 좋은 불편함, like this. How did you just put it in English?
Pleasant inconvenience.
Pleasant inconvenience, yes. For example, like people who we design Hanok for, a typical case is people who've just retired and they want their retirement home, and they say, we've lived in an apartment half of our lives, but when we were small, we lived in Hanok, and it was inconvenient, and winter was cold, and summer was hot, and this typical story of the glass of water they put on their side table, and in the morning was frozen.
Oh wow! But
like
they
for
want
older
that
people,
again.
they say like it was inconvenient, but when we think back, like there's this long in it, it felt like home.
Yeah,
and that's what the apartment doesn't give them.
Yeah, I wonder.
So it's of course you don't want to live in an inconvenient way, but something that gives you the feeling of being home.
Yeah.
And a typical element that many people require us to design is a tarak, a loft in a Hanok. But a loft, it definitely is not a convenient space. You have to usually climb up a sort of ladder to get onto it.
Yeah.
But people want that. And then I ask, why do you want this, like small place for yourself where it's so inconvenient to get up to? Because you like this inconvenience.
Yeah.
It has something to it, right?
Yeah, there's some meaning there.
Yeah, also if you go into a Hanok, there's the kidan, which is the foundation plate, which is elevated.
It's very bad for like accessibility if you're thinking about
it's
like
not barrier free.
Days.
Exactly. So if we talk about barrier free building, of course, it becomes a completely difficult issue. And as architects, we have to think about that too.
Sure.
But let's say you are still in a healthy condition.
Yeah.
You have to get up into the house, right? Because the Hanok is elevated from the ground.
That's the whole platform, the flooring, right, is elevated. Right?
So if you look at old people living in Hanok, they manage it.
Yeah,
because they're actually trained to live this way.
Yeah.
And then I think, is this necessarily a bad thing? And I think no.
No, there's something to it. If a Hanok was not like that, if it was all floor level and it didn't have, I didn't know there was a name for it, that like wooden beam at the entrance, which to be honest is quite high. Like you take a big step over it when you go in.
Exactly.
It wouldn't feel real and authentic, and like you said, it's nice being barrier free, to make sure that everyone can get in, especially if it's a public like institution or something.
Exactly.
Then that's a different matter.
Yes.
But if it's your house and it's your personal taste, I think it's nice that you can do it in an older way that is maybe inconvenient but brings back those feelings. I'm just curious, if people these days are growing up, like my kids, in apartments, are they going to have the same feeling when they retire? Like, will they have that same longing for a Hanok, or will they feel it feels like home? I don't know.
It's a good question, actually.
Yeah.
So maybe if I think about what kind of clients we also have young people who didn't have any experience of living in a Hanok whatsoever.
Yeah.
But they were just drawn to it like, I don't know, almost like a sort of intuition.
Yeah.
And and we have had a young couple who built a Hanok in Jebu-dong. And it was just finished around the pandemic, and they said, when we switched to home office, it was so wonderful.
Oh, wow.
They so enjoyed their time at home then, yes.
Yeah, it's definitely more interesting than an apartment. Like, no matter how nice an apartment is, the exterior, there's not much difference between them. You know, these days they're trying to make some look a bit different, but still... And they're all the same layout, you know, floor after floor after floor. And no matter how you do the interior differently, which many people do these days.
It's like a consumer good, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, like when you earn
get
more
it
money.
Off the shelf, yeah.
Yes, you get a new one. You get a bigger car. Like when you earn more money, you move into a bigger apartment, into a better neighborhood, a nicer brand.
Sure.
But this, what made a home like your real home, it's a little bit missing, I think.
I think so. And maybe it's more along the Western style of things in Europe where you have a family home and that's like your home for life in many cases. You know, many people don't move at all for maybe 30 years or something. Here in Korea, I don't know when that started, but certainly my auntie, I recall, every time I came to Korea, she lived in a different apartment. And I came every 2 or 3 years, and I was like, why do you move so much? She'd be like, you know, you're trying to get to somewhere better, bigger, look at the next hot neighborhood. But I guess a Hanok, if you're buying that and you're thinking long term, that's going to be your home for probably, potentially life.
And I'm sometimes fascinated why in Korea it has become so extreme. Like, remember we talked about this before about the connection to your home and the novel Sosol, the novel Toji.
Land.
Right? Which shows how connected Koreans originally were to their home and their plot, their land, and the place they were born. And now we hardly have any connection with the apartment. You just move and move and move. It doesn't matter.
Swung completely the other way, right? It's really interesting. Okay, Daniel, we've got to the point of the show where we potentially, depending on your answer, have a quiz, okay? So every week for Peters on the Blog, our senior writer, writes a quiz question related to their area of expertise. But... there is a choice. You don't have to do the quiz. I will say, nobody has rejected the quiz so far. Maybe it's the pressure that I give to them subconsciously. But if you get the answer right, there are some good prizes in this box of tricks.
I think I'm fine. I think I can do it. Let's do it.
Good, because we would have had a couple more minutes to kill as well. So I will give you the quiz question. If you can get it right without multiple choice or hints, that's amazing. But if not, there are some hints to give you as well.
Okay.
All right, you will take on today's quiz. Then I am...
Right.
You can't pick the prize first, Daniel. If you get it wrong, there's no prize. So no picking out just yet. This is the xylophone for you are accepting the quiz. Okay. And then if you get it right, I'll let you put your hand in there, okay?
Oh, okay.
That's
I thought
I
thought it was the questions in here.
No.
Not the questions, I see.
No, we've got one specially tailor-made for you, okay? It's about Bukchon Hanok Village.
Yes.
So to protect the daily lives of residents and prevent excessive tourist traffic, tourist visiting hours have been restricted since December of last year. Did you hear about that? Yeah. Do you agree with that as well? Because, you know, tourists, they want to see that, but I guess people who live there, it's their home as well. Yeah. How do you feel?
Well, I understand why they've done and probably was necessary because the overflow of tourists was really getting a problem. Yeah. There has been a problem for many years. The question I would put there is it has been promoted so much as a tourist area and then you have to pedal back sort of and restrict it. It's a bit of an irony, isn't it?
Yeah, it is interesting.
A victim of its own success, so to speak.
If you go too successful, then it becomes inconvenient. So there has been a red zone designated in the Pukchon-do 11gil or 11gil area with specific strict visiting restrictions. So the question is, what are the restricted hours for tourists in the red zone of Bukchon Hanok Village?
It's between, give me a second.
We do have options if you need them.
Give me a second because I was walking past the sign not long ago. I think you can't go around there after, not before 9. So I think 9, it's opened up.
Okay.
And then you can't walk there, I think, after 5 p.m.
Oh, okay. So
I think.
I'm going to be kind.
Maybe it's close.
I'm going to get. It was very close, but I'm going to be kind and
6?
give you the options. Okay.
Yeah.
So is it number 1, the restricted hours, 5 p.m. until 10 a.m., or number 2, 9 p.m. until 11 a.m., or number 3, 10 p.m. until 12 p.m. the next day? So out of those 3.
The first.
The first. 5 p.m. until 10 a.m., Daniel, is correct. Yes, you were 1 hour off, just saying that it started at 9 a.m., but it's apparently 10 a.m.
10 a.m.,
which is interesting. Yeah, that's later than I would have thought tourists can start going in there. But well done, Daniel.
Maybe people sleep in there.
Yes, here we go. Okie dokie. If you open it up, there is a prize in there.
Let's see.
And it could be a good one, but it could be a terrible one, like Peter will sign something for you.
애국심 뿜뿜 솟아나는 대한민국
Soju set. You've got a soju glass set from our producer.
Okay.
It will not be something traditional and fancy. It will be something that probably cost 1,000 won from the store that has everything. Is there a Hanok on there, maybe? Oh, there's
there
a
even
Hanok
is one.
Yes, from Gwangamun. There you go. Congrats, Daniel. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for
today.
having me.
It was
a
an
pleasure.
absolute pleasure as well.
It was
I'm
a pleasure.
sure our listeners are more interested in Hanok. Good luck with all your future works as well,
you.
Daniel. Thank you.